App today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app. The future of mobile, saving lives today.
That thing we've been saying for 64 years? Ignore it. Eat the KFC wings, drink the KFC gravy, fill up on fries. Just please forget the thing we normally suggest. You know, that thing you used to do with your tongue after finishing a delicious piece of our KFC chicken. We get it. It's not easy. There's a reason why it's been our slogan for over half a century. But the world's drastically changed of late, and as soon as we can embrace the change, the sooner we can all get back to doing what we do best. KFC. It's good.
Shaken yet standing firm.
I was not built to break.
This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me, Deputy Chief Fire Officer for Domestic Services in the Cayman Islands, Mr. Roy Charlton, Deputy Chief Fire Officer for Aviation, Mr. Brevin Elliott, Deputy Chief Fire Officer for Administration, Ms. Tina Ebanks. And as you heard earlier, Ms. Tina Ebanks said that they, as far as their roles are concerned, they do rotate as well. They're in rotation now, so that each deputy gets an opportunity to familiarize themselves with other aspects of the fire service, the Cayman Islands Fire Service as well. So before we went to the break, one of our listeners wanted to know whether or not the officers on the show this morning were aware that the government will be presenting amendments to the development and planning regulations to remove the requirement for sprinkler systems in some buildings. I think, Ms. Tina, you were going to respond to that?
Yes, sir. At this time, I couldn't speak specific to that because I haven't gotten any specific correspondence or been involved in any meetings as it relates to that with the planning department. Mm-hmm. So it is something that I would have to look into and get some further details on, but the fire service at this time can't comment. Okay,
excellent. And if we get anything before the show is over, we will share it with you as well. We do have a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. For the Record.
Hey, good morning, Doc. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you? And good morning to your guest.
Morning, sir. Morning.
The fact that all you are deputies, I take it that the majority of the staff is still Caymanian at your institution.
Go ahead. You can.
Yeah, that's affirmative, sir.
Pardon me?
Yeah, that's affirmative. Majority of the staff at in our organization is Caymanians, yes.
So the Caymanians are still in control?
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent, okay. The reason why I call is because it seems to me I was with the airport authority from 2001, I think, until 2013, 2014 or something like that. And I found that the two organizations had a great relationships, especially under the leadership of Mr. Kirk Nixon. And I found that it was one of the best organizations outside of customs for services and for reliability. But the reason I called was the opening statements of Mr. Charlton this morning when he was talking about the traffic and driving. I come down sometimes at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I live in Northward, and that's I have to come that early to be able to get in town on time and safe. And even then, I see people going through the radar on Lidford Pearson's highway at 87 miles an hour, 83 miles an hour, 84 miles an hour, cars racing each other or that early in the morning going through the radar. And the problem that I find is the lack of enforcement. And I don't know, Mr. Charlton, you're saying that people should do this, they should drive safely, but they're not going to do that until there is enforcement. And I can't understand that you have a great organization like your authority, like the Customs Authority, and like the Border Control, and yet you have so many thousands of cars on the island, and you don't have any control. There's no enforcement. And I remember when I first came back in the 70s and 80s, even then when you had not too many cars on the road, you had a traffic control every morning and every evening, people on motorcycles and cars parked and the traffic cops. Perhaps the time should come where you should think about lobbying to take over that part of the streets also, since you have to go and cut people out and respond to all these unnecessary accidents. It is really ridiculous that people can disregard the rules of the road. They come behind you when you're driving the speed limit, and they come up to your bumper sometimes in the night, and their bright lights are flashing in your rear view mirror, and those that are coming on the opposite side of you are doing the same thing with their lights flashing. It seems to me that it's a free for all on the road, and I don't go out at nights because I'm scared that I might get hurt by other people on the road. So keep up the good work. There is no reason why you should accept lesser standards and what your predecessors have laid the foundation for. And I really congratulate you young people. I mean, you're all deputies, but I want to hear that you are head of departments. You are head of department soon.
Soon come.
If I was ever in an elected position, you could believe that you all would be there, because I am a Caymanian nationalist.
Thank you very much, Doc. And any comments on that, Mr. Charlton?
Thank you for that, Mr. Marpeel. And like I said, one of our main goals is to keep our campaign up for road safety, along with the RCIPS. And we're doing our endeavor best to educate the public on it. And I think that's one of the big issues is educating. I think one of the big issues is to make sure that we're educating people more in regards to the road safety campaign. And like I said, we're working in conjunction with RCIPS, and we're doing our endeavor best on that.
Okay, Doc, I want to thank you very much for that. One of the things that Dr. Marpeel spoke about, and we'll bring us into this topic as well, getting the public's understanding of the various sections of the Cayman Islands Fire Service. Now, we know at one time way back, everything was lumped into one in terms of the airport service, the domestic fire service, and everything. So we have about 2 minutes. We know that you folks were scheduled to stay on until 9 o'clock. We have no guests beyond 9 o'clock, so I'm more than happy to continue to entertain you on the show, because we do have, it is quite obvious by the calls that we're getting that people have an interest in what we're talking about, and there's so much more to talk about in terms of the development of the fire service as well. So we want to give them a clear understanding of how the fire service is now structured, and that as far as domestic operations are concerned, not impacted at all by what happens at the airport when flights are coming in, unlike the old days as well. A little bit too early for headline for 9 o'clock break, Ms. Susan. A little bit too early for that. You want us to continue talking as well? Okay. So we'll take the break, and when we return, we'll talk more about the Cayman Islands Fire Service, how it is structured, how you, the public, are benefiting from it. We want to talk about the future plans for the Cayman Islands Fire Service, as well. The attitude that fire officers have now in terms of the restructuring and the way forward as far as the Cayman Islands Fire Service. And if you were interested in becoming a firefighter, how would you go about that as well? I'm sure that falls into Ms. Tina's area of responsibility also. So, folks, please stay tuned. More to come after headline news at 9 o'clock, so please stay tuned.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecast, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
This is how we wake you up in the morning. Praise time on Radio Cayman. Praise time.
Jesus in the morning. I will. So send me, Lord. I will go. Born again. Thank God I'm born again.
Weekday mornings from 6 until 6:30.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only two species that we have, on the island.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported the results of 189 COVID-19 tests on Friday. All came back negative. As of Friday, there were 844 people in isolation. The White House has accused leading infectious disease expert Anthony Fauci of playing politics days before the election in an interview about the coronavirus pandemic. Dr. Fauci told the Washington Post the U.S. was in for a, quote, whole lot of hurt. He also offered an assessment of how both President Donald Trump and his Democratic rival Joe Biden are approaching the pandemic. The U.S. has recorded more deaths and cases than any other country. Palace sources have told the BBC the Duke of Cambridge contracted COVID-19 earlier this year. It's believed he tested positive in April at a similar time to his father, the Prince of Wales. According to the Sun newspaper, which first reported the story, Prince William, who was 38 years old, kept the diagnosis private to avoid alarming the nation. Kensington Palace, the office and home of Prince William, refused to comment officially. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Your voice, your choice, your radio.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have a special request to wish a happy birthday to Mr. Dennis Smith over in Cayman Brac, 85 years of age today, Mr. Dennis Smith, and over in the Brac. And this is coming from your family and your friends in the Brac. Happy birthday to you, sir. We have in the studio with us this morning some members of the leadership of the Cayman Islands Fire Service. We have with us Deputy Chief Fire Officer for Administration, Ms. Tina Ebanks, Deputy Chief Fire Officer for Aviation, Mr. Bevan Elliott, and Deputy Chief Fire Officer for Domestic, Mr. Roy Charlton. Let's speak about the structure of the fire service, where we have come from and where we are today as far as being the best fire service in the region.
The fire service in the region
All right. In regards to that and our structure, and I think one of the things a lot of people don't realize is the uniqueness of our department itself. Even though we're aviation and domestic, we're all under one roof and one chief. But you've been saying, there's 3 sections to the whole department, and aviation itself is. I'll let Mr. Elliott elaborate on that. As far as the domestic standpoint of it, is that we deal with anything on the outside of the airport itself, and it doesn't impact the aviation response to any incident they may have as far as that. But we have our station in Frank Sound, one in West Bay, station on the BRAC, which is dual purpose as well. It's all it's aviation and domestic under one building. Okay. And then Little Cayman is more aviation. We're hoping in the future to put in a domestic section in Little Cayman and to boost that, but that comes with the numbers as well, which is part of the recruitment process, and keep building the service up to the standards that we would like to see it. Okay. When you one of the things for myself, and I'm quite sure the other deputies may speak of it as well, is that when you travel, that you get to see other countries, other Caribbean countries on the whole as well too, and you visit their files, you see what they're capable of, what they have, and stuff like that, and it motivates us to try and be the best that we can be in the best in our region as far as our standards, our training and stuff like that, and our equipment. And so that opens your eyes a lot to seeing different things and building. And like I said, our main goal is to make our service in this part of the region the best that we can be, and to serve our the community on a whole. I'll let Mr. Elliott speak as the importance of having the aviation section and what it entails.
Sure, Mr. Elliott.
Sure, morning again. Just to expound a little on what DCFO Charlton was stating in regards to the way the fire service has come so far over the years. Not a lot of people are aware that the Cayman Islands Fire Service is the only fire service in this hemisphere that houses 2 different firefighting sections out of one firehouse. Okay. With that said, we complement each other in terms of response if need be. From the domestic assist the airdrome assist the domestic. But for the main function of the aviation, the main function of the RFS, Rescue and Firefighting Services, is to provide those firefighting services to the airport in order for Orleans Roberts International Airport and Charles Colonel International Airport to have an international license. Without us, there won't be an international license. There won't be international flights flying on here. So you imagine the impact on tourism if something like that was happening. So a lot of people are not aware of the importance of the RFFS, as they think that we're just there at the station waiting for something to happen. But in actual fact, we're there for those requirements and maintaining our competencies and ensuring that we are ready if something should happen, an aircraft emergency, crash, incident, whatever the case is. We have regulatory requirements where we have to meet on a monthly basis, annual basis, quarterly basis, do our hot fire training, and also meet regulatory certifications when it comes under the OTARs, the Overseas Territorial Regulations, in terms of certifications, etc., to provide the services that is needed.
Okay. Ms. Tina, if you were selling the fire service to me and wanted to encourage me to be a recruit for the fire services, what would you tell me about the benefits and the pros of joining the fire service?
Well, when you join the fire service and you look at the broader picture of the incident responses, and know that you're in the community, helping people, saving lives, protecting property, I mean, it is really rewarding when you can save someone's house from total involvement in a fire, save someone from a water incident or a motor vehicle accident. And then on the aviation side, they're there, on their response, you may have a hot wheel or a fire in the wheel well, and they'll save the whole aircraft with however many passengers in there. So to encourage people, I would say it is rewarding, beyond reward, to see the smiles on people's face, and when you are involved in an incident and someone is asking you for your help and you are there assisting. I mean, some incidents are worse than others. Some are heart-wrenching, some are really touching, but at the end of the day, once we get the job done, I would say if that's the field that you would want to be in, it's really rewarding.
Okay. And you have a group of cohort of recruits now in training?
Yes, we do.
Okay. What does that training entail?
For the domestic standpoint of it, we have what we call extrication training, which is learning different tactics and techniques with extricating people from crash vehicles. There's a lot that goes into that. It's not as simply as going out to a vehicle and cutting. There's a lot of study goes into what type of vehicles. I mean, right now we're faced with a lot of electrical vehicles coming online. And in training, we've stepped up our training department in regards to that, and the on-duty crew as well, the frontline crew as well, because not only Is it dangerous? You know, we have to look out for airbag deployments and different things like that can be a hazard to the firefighter themselves. And knowing where to cut in these electrical vehicles and different things like that, there's a lot of study that go into it as far as training-wise from a domestic standpoint. So it's not just simply going out there and taking out a Hallmark piece of tool and just cutting into a door or whatever the case is. You know, there's a lot of planning and strategic stuff that goes into that. The recruits have just gone through 2 weeks of learning this static and technique, and now they're doing their hot fires, which is getting accustomed to wearing their BA equipment and entering buildings in smoke environments and different things like that, and just working in heat confined spaces and different things. What some of the stuff that you would actually face at a structure fire in the event that you had to go in to rescue somebody and help somebody who was in distress or whatever the case is. They've been put through their paces. Now in the weeks coming, now they'll be going through different scenarios, you know, putting the whole what they've learned to use in a real life scenario situation and seeing, you know, what it entails and stuff like that. Like I said, there's one of the highlights of it, there's never an incident that is identical to another. You know, I guess that's one of the thrills of being a firefighter, that no 2 days are alike. You know, you can come in today and say, well, we'll have a quiet day, we'll do our routines, because we do all our own maintenance and everything like that as far as in-house stuff like that. So there's always busy days in the firehouse. It's not, you know, just go in and sit around and wait for something to happen, you know. There's constant training involved, maintenance of our own equipment and stuff like that. We have our own in-house mechanics and everything. So a lot of the stuff is taking place in-house, you know, not a lot of our stuff go out to tend to anything. So, and, you know, these are just some of the days some of the things that are involved as well. And, you know, we try to compact that all into that part as far as the domestic section. And then in the weeks to come now, they'll have the aviation aspect of learning to firefight aircrafts, knowing the do's and don'ts with aircraft firefighting and stuff like that. So they're kept pretty busy for the 18 weeks.
What about your ability to render some type of medical assistance if you're the first to arrive on a scene? We see in some fire services where they have embedded within the fire service persons with those capabilities as well. What do we have here in Cayman?
Right now, as it stands, we have our first aid and CPR. We mostly assist the EMS who take lead on most of these medical calls and stuff like that. During COVID times and stuff like that, we've worked closely with some of them. I mean, we have in conjunction with 911 too, who made us aware of, you know, any incidents with anybody who might have been positive and stuff like that. So, you know, we work closely with our partners at HSA and the medical field. And like I said, with as it stands now, our basic training is first aid, CPR and stuff like that. We're hoping in the months to come, some of that training would have taken place this year as to bring it to another level for firefighters. You know, like you see most in the States, we have different parts of the world where firefighters are actually medics and stuff like that. So we're hoping to take it to the next level in the year to come. So that'll help us. But as it stands now, we mostly work in conjunction with HSA and the ambulance crew. And we take lead from them in regards to, you know, whatever medical situations that we may assist us, whether it's a lift assist, CPR, different things like that, as it stands now.
Okay, now this one may be a little touchy subject, but if you can address it, I would certainly appreciate it. We know that several years back with, you know, the changes in leadership and everything, some people may say that the morale within the fire service may have dipped a little bit, and I want you to speak to the morale within the fire service now. But before you do that, we're going to take a caller. After we take the call, we'll take a commercial break, and when we return, give you an opportunity to respond. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O'Connor.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Okay. Good morning to the fire officers there.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, the concerning the fuel tanks that are in the area next to Mr. Norberg Thompson's house. There was an incident there where one of the tanks were on fire. And my question is, if for some reason that tank was to have exploded, where the fuel line runs under the ground to the airport, is there a possibility that that fuel line would have been able to explode at the same time? And how often is that fuel line checked if you're able, if you all are able to check it?
Well, to your point, that fuel line is no longer in existence. From the time the Texaco terminal was decommissioned, that fuel line went out of service. So as it stands, it's no more of a concern to the fire department from that regard.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
No problem.
Thank you very much, caller. We're going to take a commercial break, folks. Don't change that dial. Stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
No, man. My bill seem huge again, and I don't know what to do about it. I gotta look some help.
We can help. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure has teamed up with CUC to give you the chance to win a home energy makeover worth up to $20,000. Not only will this lower your utility bills, it will increase your home's value. We are also giving away 8 home energy audits worth up to $1,900 each. Open to all homeowners in Grand Cayman. Entry is now open via www.energy.gov.ky/competition. Proudly sponsored by CEL Cooling, Mitsubishi, Phone Pros, Cooling Pros, and more. Use less, save more. Enter today.
Fidelity Bank would like to thank all essential workers. We salute your efforts and thank you for the sacrifices you've made to keep us all safe. During these challenging times we're facing, our top priority is the health and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that will never change is our commitment to giving you the best and sound financial solutions to help you during and after the coronavirus pandemic. At Fidelity Bank, our focus will always be you. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Digital is not a buzzword, it is a culture. At Digicel, we've made it our mission to enrich your digital lives. That's why we're bringing together more of all the experiences you love. The latest shows, the best of local and international music and radio, live sports, cloud storage, breaking news, HD video chats, and more. Welcome to Digital at Digicel, the Caribbean's fastest mobile network. Digicel, better together.
Green Turtle, modern solutions to get you through the new normal. Download the Green Turtle app now and top up yours or a loved one's phone with any mobile carrier in any destination. Home delivery of laptops, tablets, phones, accessories, and iTunes and major online retailer gift cards. And now, home deliveries of groceries and courier service. Guaranteed delivery within 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Visit their list of products at greenturtle.ky or download the Green Turtle app today. Green Turtle is not only the future of mobile, but today it can help save a life. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning with Deputy Chief Fire Officer for Administration, Ms. Tina Ebanks, Deputy Chief Fire Officer for Aviation at the Cayman Islands Fire Service, Mr. Brevin Elliott, and Deputy Chief Fire Officer for Domestic, Mr. Roy Charlton. 2 areas that we want to cover almost simultaneously: morale within the fire service and the responses that you have gotten in relation to your recruitment drives as well. I think one probably ties in with the other. So let's talk about morale first.
Okay, I'd like to begin on the morale of the organization and staff. And I would say over the years, I joined the fire service back in 2002. It was quite restrictive as to exposure to the international training market. And I say over the past few years, since I would say back in 2014 up until now, I think Bravon and I worked on budget when Mr. Nixon and Mr. Grant had come back into the service, and Mr. Nixon, as a part of development, got us involved in beginning to work towards budget, even though we were young officers in the fire service at that time, moving up to middle management at that time, giving us some exposure with budgeting. And I think years ago, what the restriction was in-house was budgeting. So because the budget figures were down then, and a lot of people weren't exposed to the international travel for training, over the years, we've practically touched on every single soul within the fire service in order to get them out there, get them trained. We may have one or two officers that haven't yet gone off for whatever reasons, personal reasons or reasons such as COVID. But thankfully, with new people involved in management now, we better understand the needs of the organization, and we put down what we need, and we're supported by whoever the chief fire officer is back then or now, with Chief Fire Officer Walker and the entire senior management team, the deputies, the divisional managers, and we involve training department, we involve the input of others. I think that brings the morale up when we involve the entire body of the organization.
And more opportunities for professional development.
More opportunities for professional development. And the morale on the whole, I would say the morale is up. If I look at today versus 2002, I mean, government worked very different back then. There's new regulations in place and a lot more involvement from the entire body of staff. So I think we may have complaints now and then.
And you get that everywhere.
But I mean, there's more involvement. People can put in input, and they see their input being brought forward.
Okay.
So I think the morale is up.
And do you believe that the value of the Cayman Islands Fire Service is now being more appreciated by the public as well, in terms of, we had a question about 10-story buildings. Before, the highest you went was what, 4 or 5 stories?
Yeah.
So you see all of those changes taking place now. So the service has to be much more involved. People see the importance of having a fire service. The same to do, with aircrafts and everything as well.
I think one of the things to touch on too as well is that in years gone by, we never really sold the service. We never really sold what we were about. We never really sold what we do. And now we're putting ourselves out there more. We're involving, like I said, staff being more involved and empowered. Lift the morale and lift the whole department itself. And I think one of the things that that we've been really focusing in on is putting ourselves out there, letting the public know exactly what we do, what we're about, and why we're here, and we're here to serve them in all aspects. But it's selling our product is pretty much something that we never really did. And now that we're doing that, we're getting a lot more feedback from the public and understanding exactly what the Cayman Islands Fire Service is about.
Okay. Now, earlier we heard Mr. Charlton spoke about his area of responsibility and some of the changes that have taken place there. Mr. Elliott, we know earlier you spoke about the new equipment and things. Anything that you want to add in terms of your particular area of responsibilities and some of the good things that have been happening there, and what can we look forward to in the future as well?
Sure, it's not a problem at all. Just to expound on what I spoke about earlier in regards to new equipment, I mean, the buck doesn't stop there. We have 2 more Oshkosh Strikers that we're in the process of procuring for next year, 2021. One of them will come with a high-reach extendable turret to be able to offer quicker response to larger aircraft, such as the Boeing 777. We got plans for a decontamination room here in Grand Cayman, extended aviation base, building a gym, and offering health and safety within the department here in Cayman Brac. We're also looking at improving and renovating a house in the Brac that we can consider to be a firehouse, which we're going to use for secondment of officers between the islands, rotations of officers back and forth. For 2021, we also got plans in place to build a new fire station on Little Cayman. And as Mr. Charlton spoke about earlier, we're also looking at incorporating the domestic and aviation service in that facility, and also accommodations again to rotate and second officers between islands. So we got a lot in the pipeline. And on top of that, it's building and training and development the new staff that's coming in. One of the challenges that I'm looking at within the next year or so, specifically in the aviation aspect of it, a lot of our officers that are currently employed basically reach retirement year all at once. So we're looking at a possibility of 5, 6, up to 12 officers would be at that age if they choose to retire. So it's somewhat of putting in place a fast track and succession plan with the younger officers to be able to train them up to have them ready for such a, I would say, mass exodus should they decide to all want to leave at the same time. So besides that, I mean, with the recruitment process, I think we're on track to achieve that objective and not to have any shortfalls in the future.
Okay, now speaking of the recruitment process, the response that you have received in relation to applicants expressing their desire to join the fire service, what has it been like?
That has been great. I mean, the venting process in regards to reaching the finals itself has gone good. In both recruitment process, I think in this last one, if I'm correct, is that we had over 100 and odd applicants, and boil it down to hiring 18.
Wow.
At the point. So it's still there. We still have some work some more recruitment, hopefully in the year to come, to bring the numbers up to where we would like to see, for safe systems are working and stuff like that. But even to expound more on what Mr. Elliott spoke about as far as the domestic section, we have an aging fleet right now that of equipment that's about 15 to 16 years old. Some of you know that. Hopefully in by the end of this month, our equipment that we have ordered, we have 4 new RIVs that are coming. These are our new rescue type vehicles with the capabilities of quick knockdown fires and stuff to knock down quick incidents. We have 3 new tankers. We have 3 new trailer pumps. The trailer pumps that we have now have really worked themselves to pieces, mostly at the landfill. And like I said, we have to changing out our fleet now in the process of of that. And new extrication equipment that we received earlier this year, we've gone into a new core system which speeds up actual extrication time. As in the past equipment we had the Halmatras, we had 2 cables and stuff like that. Now we've gone to a core system where it's 1 cable, so 1 hookup giving you the same capabilities and quick, faster response. We have battery operated Halmatra equipment, so we can just take a piece of equipment off the truck and get straight into motion without even having to hook up cables. So the technology, as we move, the technology in the world itself is changing. Cayman Islands Fire Service shouldn't be any different, and we're doing that even with our new equipment that we have coming, our new trucks. We've gone to a clean cab concept, which is one of the things that we looked at over the years. When I went to a conference in Indiana, and also as Mr. Elliott and I in Atlanta, we saw one of the things in firefighters nowadays is the cancer risk. It's at an all-time high. So we're putting measures in place with our new equipment and educating our staff and training and different things like that as to preventatives, some of the stuff that we used to do back in the day. And like I said, that's changing the culture. We always thought of our clothes, after a fire, whatever the case is, we'd tuck them in a bag, stick them in the car, we'd go home and we'd come back the next day. Those are the things that we weren't educated on until we started traveling overseas and seeing exposures and networking with other firefighters and stuff worldwide and seeing the dangers of actually that practice itself. So now we're trying to change that culture within our organization, and on the domestic side, we've gone to, the clean cab concept where everything is protected. It's put in a bag after it's used. It's gone to the cleaners, our in-house cleaners. Stuff that we're putting in place so that each officer turns out in a fresh, clean, sanitized set of care protected. It's one of those things when you sit down in a conference and you're talking to people through bad practices over the years and are actually battling cancer. And I think we have to start protecting ourselves and protecting our younger officers that are coming behind. So we have to put these things in place and protect them as we go. The life we save first is our own. So that's where we're working from.
Yep. Okay. I want to give the 3 of you an opportunity for some closing comments as well. So we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, give you an opportunity for closing comments and any area that we haven't touched on that you may want to mention before you depart. We want to give you an opportunity to do that as well. So folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Ropers. Appliances, dishware, bulk foods, and so much more. With huge savings. Ropers is stocked for your hurricane supplies. Don't cut back on your needs. Cut back on your spending with Ropers. Your neighborhood store. Value. Integrity. Ropers Enterprises. 122 Industrial Way. Call 949-2511. Clean up your spending with Ropers. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
Do you remember when 2020 was great?
I don't think it was
2020 vision, not the year.
right.
Make 2020 great again with Optical Outlook, the new West Bay store now open. With their designer frames and sunglasses, eye health has never looked so good. Call 746-2020 and book your eye exam today at Caymanian Village and now at Jake Scott Plaza in West Bay, offering premier eye care in Cayman for over 30 years. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
For the record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Closing comments will come now from Deputy Chief Fire Officer for Administration, Ms. Tina Ebanks, Deputy Chief Fire Officer for Aviation, Mr. Brevin Elliott, Deputy Chief Fire Officer for Domestic Services, Mr. Roy Charlton. They're all from the Cayman Islands Fire Service. So we're going to go around the table. We're going to start with you, Mr. Elliott. Any closing comments? Want to highlight anything that you want to, or anything that we may have missed so far, or any new surprises that we can expect from the Cayman Islands Fire Service as well, sir?
Yeah, well, we shared just about all the surprises we had. But
for now.
Yeah, for now. But I would just like to publicly thank everyone in the public for all their support that they've given the fire department over the years, especially during the dump fire and other incidents that we had. We had a lot of companies stepped up, donated stuff to us, gave us a lot of shouts, appreciation of our job and what we're here for. So I would just like to get that out there, that the public know that we appreciate everything that they do, and the fact that they respect that we do our job to protect them and to protect their property, risking our own lives at the end of the day.
Certainly. That's it. Okay, Ms. Tina?
I'd like to also thank the Ministry Chief Officer Dr. Dax Bazdeo for standing behind us for the budget that we've asked for to better the organization. I'd like to thank the Minister for her support and her understanding of where the service is today and where we want to take it, and her support on that. And also a great big thank you to Chief Fire Officer Walker for sharing his wisdom and knowledge and experience with us, and his plan to develop us strategically in order to take over, which he plans to designate a Chief Fire Officer after our assessments finish in a year time.
Okay.
So September next year or so, we should be hearing who has been successfully designated as a Chief Fire Officer, and he'll work along with that individual for further development, and still also working with the deputies to develop them, but at that time a focus more on who is designated chief.
Okay, and this may be a little tricky question, but as far as the three of you are concerned, whomever has been designated, I am sure that the two remaining ones will be more than happy and prepared to throw their full support behind that individual.
Yeah,
most definitely.
Excellent.
We do that right now.
That's good to know.
And we'll continue to do that.
Excellent. That's really, really great to hear, Mr. Charlton.
Just to piggyback on Stellit and Ms. Ebanks, I just want to thank the listening public for having us this morning. And glad that we could hear some stuff that we actually do on a whole. And I think Ms. Banks have already touched on the thank yous for the ministry and Dr. Dax and the whole team itself is standing behind us and supporting us in the endeavors. Just want to thank our crew itself, our frontline runners, the working force at the bottom, and for standing behind us and supporting and doing what they do best. There's a delegate I mean, a dedicated group of guys that, you know, I don't think they would take on any other profession because they love what they do, and you know they're here to serve the public, and they take pride in doing that. And I just want to thank them, you know, for each day coming out and do what they do. Not much more I can say in regards to that, more than the fact that, you know, we're going to keep this mission alive and making Cayman Islands Fire Service the best that it can be in this region, and touching on DG's mission for world-class service as well as world-class fire service. And just want to encourage, you know, we want to put the department in a place where young school leavers leaving school would look at Cayman Islands Fire Service as a career opportunity and a career job for them to take on, that Mr. Elliott touched on earlier. Like, you know, we got a good portion of our service that is almost to that retirement age if they choose to do so, and you know, we want to recruit some young enthused you know, people about fire service. And like I said, it's a good career. Gone 33 years, a few more to go, and you know, at that time, I say Mr. Nixon was the person in charge who gave me an opportunity, and I hope I've done the public well with maintaining, you know, the high level, all of us, and reaching to this level in our careers, and we'll continue to strive to make Cayman Islands Fire Service the best that it can be.
Okay. We have another WhatsApp message here. This one is similar to one before, but maybe this person wasn't listening. It says, can you ask your guests if they have a policy okay, this is slightly different. A policy committee, and what are their policies on the 7 to 10 story buildings and the regulations. Like I said, what they wanted to know whether or not within the fire service, do you have a policy committee that has been established to establish, you know, to set certain policies? Of course, you know, you're limited in terms of setting policies because the cabinet, the government sets the policies, and then you go ahead and implement them. But of course, in many instances, I'm sure that they would seek your feedback, you know, in relation to this, despite the fact that at this point in time you're not aware about what the other writer had written in about the elimination of sprinkler systems in some buildings. But no doubt at some point in time, if that is seriously being contemplated or considered, that you would expect that they would seek some feedback from the Cayman Islands Fire Service.
Definitely.
Okay. I think I had one more question before we leave. Has the issue of overtime and time off been resolved within the fire service now? Because I believe several years ago that had been an issue with accumulated time, and because of the staffing situation, it was difficult for officers to get time off, but at the same time, whether or not there were financial restrictions or otherwise, the ability to pay them as opposed to them having to take the time off. Has all of that been resolved now?
There's a great decrease over the years in the amount of overtime being worked, and it's less if you look at it now because we're recruiting.
Yes.
But at this time we do pay overtime for staff once it's an operational function that they're coming in for. For training and other such events. They not training, sorry, because that is operational for operational certification. But there are some instances that overtime is required, that they do get comp time back. So they take that time back. So it's like added vacation time.
And the more staff you have, that'll reduce the pressures on you for in terms of giving that comp time.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things, like I said, that we've been working on is to bring the numbers up, and until we can bring the numbers up for safe systems are working, we'll always have areas where overtime is incurred, unfortunately. But until we get the numbers up fully, then we'll still be faced with some challenges in that. But it's significantly decreased.
Okay. Well, I want to again thank you for making yourselves available. I want to wish you all the best. Wish each of you the best as far as the competition, if I may call it that, to become chief fire officer. It's a pity, or maybe we can suggest a change of policy for the government. We have a chief fire officer for aviation, chief fire officer for administration, chief fire officer for domestic, and that will solve the problem as well. But all the best to you. Please stay safe, and again, thanks for the job that you do in terms of keeping preserving life and property in the Cayman Islands as well. Thank you all very much. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to have 15 minutes of open mic this morning, only 15 minutes of it. So if you have any questions, comments, start dialing now because we won't be going over 10 o'clock. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Stronger, wider, higher, lighter. The all-new Ford Ranger Raptor.
Powerfully built with a 2.0 diesel Panther engine and 210 horsepower. Modern with leather interior and 8-inch touchscreen, Sync 3 technology and power features. Tough, built to handle the off-road with 4-wheel drive, terrain modes, and 10-speed automatic transmission. Coming early October to Vamped Motors, Walkers Road. To find out more and to test drive the bold new Ford Ranger Raptor, visit Vamped Motors, Walkers Road, or call 949-8288.
No, man. My bills seem huge again, and I don't know what to do about it. I can look some help.
We can help. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure has teamed up with CUC to give you the chance to win a home energy makeover worth up to $20,000. Not only will this lower your utility bills, it will increase your home's value. We are also giving away 8 home energy audits worth up to $1,900 each. Open to all homeowners in Grand Cayman. Entry is now open via www.energy.gov.ky/competition. Proudly sponsored by CEL Cooling, Mitsubishi, Phone Pros, Cooling Pros, and more. Use less, save more. Enter today. Whether you're finishing a new condo, upgrading your rental property, or simply renovating, make Roper's Enterprises your first stop. Quality furniture at a fraction of the price. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Roper's, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Roper's Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Your home deserves a quality finish. Visit their showroom or shop online at ropers.ky. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It certainly was a pleasure having the 3 Caymanians from the leadership of the Cayman Islands Fire Service on the show this morning. I totally enjoyed the interview with them, and it goes to show you again that we have lots of local talent here in the Cayman Islands, and many instances there's no need for us to reach further or go beyond our shores to find and to fill positions in the Cayman Islands. They have given praise to the Chief Fire Officer, Mr. Walker. Obviously, they're happy with his performance and the guidance that he's been given to them as well, and that is certainly appreciated. We have 2 callers. That probably will be all that we can accommodate within the period of time that we have. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Ossie.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Not too bad, yourself?
I'm fine, thanks.
Ossie, what we can do in this country about the foolishness that's happening in this country? I mean, I am sick and tired of letting these businesses come into this country, right? And they are telling us how their business will operate. Why don't we have some kind of a blue book or red book or whatever you want to call it with the rules of the Cayman Islands. Would you like to come here to do business? Okay, here is what we expect from you, right? We're just letting everybody come into this country and make up their own rules. A perfect example. I can go into Foster's at the Strand at Cayman Bay. Like I just did, I can walk around with my mask on and my cap on. No issues whatsoever. You go up to the counter of Western Union. Oh, sorry. You have to take your hat off. You have to take your mask off. I say, why? I say, I can walk into the store with all of this on, but yet as soon as I come up to your reinforced little space that you have behind there with all the bulletproof glass and this and that, you have to see who I am. And half the time they got a little shade, a blind that is over the window. Half the time that is down halfway, so the camera can't even see you. And these are the things that, that needs to be looked into, and somebody needs to have some gall and say, you know what, if I can come into your place of business with a mask and a cap, why can't I go to a secure place like Western Union and I have to almost strip naked, right? It's like you go into some of these garages.
Do they have a camera there? Do they have a camera in there that is just like they have at a ATM or something like that, where they may just take your photograph, and that may be why they want you to remove the hat? What I found, caller, that was such that it was almost hypocritical, but we could understand why. That before COVID-19, you couldn't go into a financial institution like a bank wearing a mask, otherwise they would think that you were a bank robber. Yep. Now they encourage you to do so, which goes to tell you that if they can cope with you during COVID-19 with a mask on, that they should be able to cope otherwise.
And this is the kind of foolishness, OC. I mean, okay, I'll bring up another instant. What is happening to most of the people in this country, right? These garages, what they're doing. Years ago, you could walk in to any garage place that was working on your vehicle. Now, if you go and take your car to certain garages on the island, and you want to just go and check and see what's happening. Oh, no, we can't allow you. Why? Oh, well, our insurance, right? Laws say that you're not allowed because of the liability and the this and that, you're getting damaged and this and that. Why? That is not true. OC, the problem is with these garages, they don't know what they're doing, right? And they don't want you to see what they're doing because they don't know what they're doing, right? They're taking off 3 and 4 and 5 parts before they actually, if they find a problem.
So you're talking about your ability to be in the work area where they're at?
Not while the work is going on. In some cases, if I would like to see what they're doing to my car or get an idea, you used to be able to just walk in there like I can at some garages because I have a lot of knowledge when it comes to mechanics, right? I do all of my work myself. So I am not to the mercy of these people out there that is ripping people off left and right. And that's exactly what they're doing because they don't know, they don't have a clue about mechanics. But yet, they're in these places ripping people off. And I think things like this need to stop. And I just want to say to the women of this country that has a car, you can go and you can Google or you can go on YouTube and you can put in whatever issues you have with your vehicle, right? Educate yourself because you are getting ripped off left and right, and they could care less. Okay. Even in the electronic world, they're doing the same thing. All of the business they're all the same. And we have nobody to say, well, you know what, this should not be allowed. And I am not talking foolishness because you can go on Google any problems you have with your car, and when you take your car out to the garage, you tell them, say, look, this is what the problem is. Don't let them tell you what they think. or we believe the problem is, because they don't know.
Okay. Caller, I want to thank you very much for that. We have another caller that we want to accommodate before we go off the air. The next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Osi.
Hey, good morning, my friend. How are thou?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm excellent, thanks.
Yeah. Quickly, when the fire people were on, they brought up the issue about the roads, you know, people driving on the roads and all the stuff that happens on the road. And then Dr. Steve also mentioned.
Yes.
I think, we used to have a specialized traffic department, which I think was abolished so anyway. But I think we'll see the time has come for them to seriously look at installing a traffic cop, or like how in the States they have the highway patrol and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, more
because the stuff that happens on the road, everybody sees it every day, and it's past ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, the driving habits are terrible. People forget that indicators are on cars. They forget the switches are on cars, or they don't even know they're there. And all the other issues I see in the nighttime. You see so many cars with no light, or one light,
or the high beam.
Or the high beam light, and all these LED lights and these colored lights, purple lights, pink lights, and all that kind of stuff, man. And where, like you said, unless people are prosecuted for these things regularly, then people get to know, I can't take the chance, or I won't take the chance because I like to get a ticket or whatever. But as long as these things can go on and people can do them without any fear of retribution, then it's going to happen. And I think we need to have, like I said, the time has come, and we need to maybe look into setting up a specialized department of police strictly to deal with the traffic, given the amount of cars or vehicles that we have on the roads now. It's because that's the only way we're going to see any kind of change. Because as long as you put up rules, they put up these things, what you call them, the radar things that reflect the speed.
Yes.
What's the point if you're not going to do some kind of prosecution and people break the speed? Letting people know how fast they can go. But that was my issue. I mean, I could go on because that's one of my the terrible driving habits and all the other things that road misuse and abuse.
So true.
On the road, and you very rarely see a cop car now unless you see them flying by, running with siren. There was a time when when certain areas cops would be dodging, so you would take your time. It's maybe, I don't know whether they don't have the personnel or what it is, but I think it's time to start looking at about introducing some kind of traffic.
I agree. Yeah. Caller, I want you to continue to listen. I know you will, because I'm going to share an article from the Jamaica Gleaner, yesterday's Jamaica Gleaner, and it talks about skills all drivers need. And I'm going to read this verbatim because it is quite interesting. And it reads, driving is partly a social task. Like other social skills, driving requires skills in interacting and cooperating with people. The driving task includes all the skilled actions a person must take to drive a motor vehicle. These actions must be based on sound judgment and correct decisions. Driving requires social, physical, and mental skills, says Shane Sutherland, guidance counselor. Courtesy is an essential part of the social, he adds. According to Sutherland, courteous drivers obey the traffic laws and are thoughtful of other road users. Courtesy is important in that it shows the humanistic side of a person, and it is not just a machine or a robot, but a human behind the steering wheel. For the most part, other persons on the road will be strangers to you. They all bring to the driving task their own challenges, capabilities, and limitations. Some may be tired, causing their reactions to be slower than usual. Some may be angry or distracted by personal problems. Part of the social task as a driver is one's obligation to adjust for mistakes made by pedestrians, motorcyclists, and other drivers. The article goes on to say, according to Albert Douglas, certified social emotional learner, coach from New Jersey School District, USA, social emotional learning is the process of developing and using the knowledge, attributes, and skills that help youth and adults to understand and manage emotions and feel and show empathy for others. Douglas asserts that beginning drivers often pay too much attention to the physical part of the driving task and ignore the social and mental skills needed for driving. Some think good driving is merely skillful accelerating, steering, and braking. Basic physical skills, however, must be learned well enough to become almost automatic. This allows the driver to concentrate on the social and mental skills of driving. Hands turn the steering wheel and feet push the pedals. However, feet and hands respond only when they receive directions from the brain. Now, since the brain controls driving, safe driving is mainly a mental decision-making task. The physical skills of turning a wheel or pushing a brake or accelerator pedal are of little use if done at the wrong time. Deciding where to steer and when to brake and accelerate is vital in being a defensive driver. You continuously hear me talk about defensive driving here as well. According to one doctor who's a consultant psychologist, only after you master the thinking skills of driving can you become a skillful driver. So, folks, it is all in the mind. You have to master the mental part of driving before you will be able to master the physical part of driving. So if you have an aggressive mentality, if you have a no-care mentality, if you have no regard for life mentality, then you are a problem on the roads, because whatever physical skills that you have, they will not overcome those mental skills that you have. If you get an opportunity, read this article in the Jamaica Gleaner, Skills All Drivers Need, published yesterday in the Jamaica Gleaner. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension for the record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy and dangerous roads of the Cayman Islands, because of people who don't have the mental skills to drive as well, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Brainy Banks at 12:15 for talk today, and as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And Fidelity Bank. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Also brought to you by Roper's Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. And the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure. Visit energy.gov.ky/competition